Yeah, man, Satan really been messing with my videos and trying to make a video. But I'm gonna just shorten it. This one, try to do the video twice, and this movie's in, just cuts off. So I'm gonna try to just keep this underneath 12 minutes. I'm gonna just start off with this scripture. So it says, Obadiah 1:6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kakwadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles of GMS that rule well, our beloved elders that we learn and teach, that learn and that teach as well, and that's been laboring and haven't went back into the world. And peace, blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect that's out there, you men and women that consist of the 12 tribes of Israel. And your father goes back to Negroid, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, West Indian descent. Again, I'm gonna make this quick. Esau has been fucking with my the videos. I'm gonna pull up this. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make this quick as hell. Again, they affected my video twice already. Just cut, the shit just cut off. So this is Wet Nurses, the dark history of Esau here in America, aka Babylon the Great. So it's the slavery and racism drive a toxic double standard about breastfeeding. Even as women face pressure to breastfeed during the formula shortage, black women confront counter pressure and less support. So it says the shortage of infant formula plaguing American families have precipitated cause for mothers who formula feed to just breastfeed. But even as women face this pressure, black women receive counter pressure not to breastfeed and face obstacles to breastfeeding that white women do not. This situation is a legacy of slavery, when enslaved black women were denied control over their own bodies and forced to breastfeed their white enslaved babies to the detriment of their own. The long-term consequence of this coercive practice, along with racist tropes and intentional economic oppression, was racial disparities in breastfeeding rates. Black women are less likely to initiate breastfeeding compared with Asian, white, and Hispanic women. The prevalence of breastfeeding is close to 85% across the nation, but for black women, it is around 75%. While many posit that this gap stems from cultural preferences, individual choice, a lack of education, or lower socioeconomic status, legal scholar Andrea Freeman persuasively argues that this narrative obscures the centuries of oppressive laws, policies, and behaviors that truly drive disparity. Before the Civil War, white female enslavers commonly found breastfeeding to be unfashionable and inconvenient. Instead, they preferred to have black enslaved wet nurses breastfeed their babies. These wet nurses were a valuable commodity. In 1850, 20% of white enslavers, about 70,000, relied on them to breastfeed their children. While wet nursing was a global and ancient practice for enslaved African women, meaning the so-called black women, Judite of the tribe of Judah, it was dehumanizing and traumatic, stripping them of autonomy over their own breasts. And also, the women that came over in the shores, from the shores of Africa, west of Africa, consist of the three tribes, Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. Because even the West Indian women are fucked up too. And the Haitian women. It says, this cruel practice also had devastating effects on the health of enslaved children. That's right, because the woman not tending to their own children and looking out for the Esau master's children, caused them to, be fucked up, man. A lot of this trickled down even to this day. Black mothers were physically separated from their own newborns to breastfeed their enslaved babies, sometimes permanently. So yeah, that can be a cruel shock. It said Freeman had argued that the stereotype of the bad black mother helped justify this inhumane practice. So Esau calls um, the detriment between the mother and the child, and then when they had a chance to put it on TV, they did. So it was like a counterattack, you know. They caused it, but then they played off of your emotions and then demonized you. You know, Esau is very strategic and tactical with the dysfunction of the black family, so-called black family. And these strategic plans work heavily on the so-called blacks here in America. You know, a lot of the other tribes don't understand what's going on, and they wonder why the so-called blacks here in America are fucked up. Well, because we've been underneath the true hands of these Edomites, man. You know, America didn't get great for out of no reason or out of no, you know, it just, you know, one place just doesn't get strong and wealthy for nothing. Especially knowing that America was established by wickedness, rape, rob, and murder. Let me see. A key pillar of this idea, she writes, was the racist caricature of the mammy, a black enslaved woman who was an enslaved woman in America, and an encyclopedia puts it, devoted to mothering white children, but who neglected her own children, And also, like I brought out earlier, Obadiah 1:6 out of the things that Esau sought out. The Lord has set up prophets in the last days to you know, expose this devil. You know, from slavery even to this day, you know, the Lord had you know, certain people stay around, stick around, come forth, come out. You know, basically what I'm getting at, in slavery, you knew the so-called white man was the devil. And even when I said the early 1900s, you had Jake, you know, somewhat know, you know, the Jim Crow laws, 1960s into 1960s, 70s, you had Khalil Muhammad, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and different people that, you know, said the so-called white man was the devil. In 1960s, you had tensions rising. You also had the Young Lords and Brown Pride. But nonetheless, it says the babies of enslaved wet nurses were bottle-fed a concoction of dry milk and dirty water that was not a healthy alternative to breastfeeding. As a result, many black babies died during slavery. Forced wet nursing, Freeman writes, also led to the disruption of the mother-child relationship. And that's why even to this day, you know, like the scripture says, you know, the ostriches are cruel, but you know, the daughter, the mother, I'm kind of nervous trying to look up another scripture because that's when it cuts off. But basically roughly paraphrasing, the daughter, the mothers of the mothers of Israel have become cruel, roughly paraphrasing, to their children. And also when you go into Deuteronomy 28 and 56, or either 54 or 56, it tells you that these women shall be cruel to their offspring. So again, we have become like brute beasts because of slavery and Esau, thriving off of our dysfunction. And this is why, you know, the so-called black women, when you see them, the way they treat their children, you know, it outright looks as if it's, inhumane, true hatred. You know, the fact that the so-called black woman would sit there and teach the children to hate their fathers and not instill their father in those children, and they'll have a dude and they'll screw another man, have a baby by another whole man. And you can also read that in Deuteronomy, I think Sirach, the 21st chapter or the 19th chapter, which talks about how women go commit adultery and have a child by another man. You know, it's you know, basically it says it's a shame, and it's like that's like a hard devastation blow. and that brings dysfunction, and that's why these households aren't thriving. And plus, the so-called black woman, starting with the Edomites, they push to narrate that they don't like the father. They disdain the father, and the strong single black woman, the single mother, this caricature, and it's those tropes, those ideology, how do you say it? Basically, those philosophies that each woman can thrive without men, and that just destroyed the children. When Esau give these women assistance and government aid, they put these women in the projects or the ghettos or the slums, and these children had to basically fend for themselves and grow up in fucked up situations and fucked up hazardous situations. And thus, that's why these boys join gangs and these daughters become whores and sluts. These mothers, they had to, work two jobs or they're out there in the streets. So, not caring about the children. Basically she uses the children as a come up. So it says, even when enslaved black women who were not wet nurses breastfed, Freeman explained that they did so for far shorter lengths of time than their counterparts in Africa. When we're not African, those are Hamites, commonly nursing for only 1 year instead of 2 or 3 because enslavers wanted mothers to take as little time off from labor as possible. After slavery ended, some black women continued to serve as wet nurses for white families, exposing them to further exploitation. Black families also faced major economic barriers from centuries of exploitation and discriminatory laws, which forced black women back to work after giving birth, often making breastfeeding impossible. So this was going on back in slavery and even to this common day. Thus, Kevin Samuels would use that and ask those women that, would you want to go back to work after after your child was born to pay significant bills and fines? So it says the fact that black women breastfed less than other mothers have served varying white interests throughout history. As Freeman writes, these included making black women available to perform exploitative labor for whites. Now, again, I'm gonna go ahead and end it because I've been trying to make this lesson for two attempts. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm trying to bring forth other lessons. Shalom.